subscribe to his podcast because it's informative. He has some great guests on.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Still Talking Podcast. My name is Joe. I am the host, and I have a great guest on today, Denis Dasilva. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Joe. I'm excited to be here.
Well, I'm glad you're on here, Denis. I want to, dive behind the curtain here. Denis, everyone in the company loves you, Revolv. You started this thing from the ground up. I want to pull back the curtain. Where does Denis come from? How did you get started in real estate? And tell me a little bit about that.
Well, that's a long story. Probably boring for most people, but I'll give it a shot. I was born here in the United States. When I was 3, we went back to Portugal, and
you lived in Portugal?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, for 14 years.
Just finding this out.
And came here to go to the university. I had a few businesses before this, some liquidation companies and some real estate. So I've been in and out of real estate for probably about 3 decades now. I used to buy income rental properties and started getting into flips. A friend of mine started his brokerage, and I said, this would be a great opportunity for me to come in and learn. Okay, so also an opportunity for me to maybe pick up some investment properties along the way. Maybe the ones that I'm flipping, I could sell and keep the commission. So I was like, this is a good idea. I'll go get my license.
Well, now, what year was this around?
Oh my God, too long ago. About 20 years ago, more or less.
Okay. So like my whole life in existence.
Thank you for making me feel incredibly old. So it started like that. I went and got my license, started doing some real estate. And the first thing I saw right away in the industry, this is just how my head works, and some of you that know me know that this is how I operate, is every time I'm somewhere, I'm envisioning how to change it, or how to make it better, or at least to my version of what's
I would
better.
say no one actually goes around like that. It's important that you'd say that. That's actually quite beautiful. It's a curse. Put me in tears.
It's a curse.
Change things.
So I want to go and I want to change it. So I was looking at the real estate and I was like, wow. I mean, they're doing things the way it was done 30 years ago. There's so much room for innovation here. This is an opportunity for me. So I went and I bought my own Remax at the time. And the concept right off the bat, they flew me all over the place for trainings. It was, the reason I liked it at the time was that they were the first ones who kind of came out with lead gen. And I understood right off the bat that, you can work by referral and have a great career out of it. But if you figure out how to get consistent leads and give those to your agents, that there's some real potential there for some automate the system so that you have consistent income. And to be able to provide a lot more service with technology to our clients. So I started looking at all that, and Remax at the time seemed to be the best fit. They flew me all over the place for training, and I started my first race. So I opened up 2 locations. And
this was Remax, right?
This is Remax, yeah. So then I started to realize that every time we met with corporate officers, it was always, how do nickel and dime clients, which our clients are the agents when you own a Remax. So nickel and dime them. Okay, so they're going to charge for a desk fee, and then all of a sudden now they're charging for paper goods, and every time you print, you have to charge. And and I noticed that when we're adding all these things up and giving them to the agents, it always left them feeling that we were nickeling them. Really, you're charging me for toilet paper here? This is ridiculous, right? But that's what we were being taught. And it didn't seem like any of the trainings that corporate was offering had anything to do with actually investing in the agents and making them.
Sounds like 98% of any really big franchisees and anywhere, actually.
That's the other thing. I really didn't like the fact that, a decision that was made at corporate level, was the same decision for all the offices everywhere in the United States. Real estate is hyperlocal, as you know, right? So how can you make a decision that's good in, let's say, California or Texas for Dartmouth, Massachusetts, or Somerset, Massachusetts? How can you do that? But they did. And kind of what broke the back for me is I came up with the concept which was called Remax On Demand. And as far as I know anyways, because this is when Comcast On Demand was coming out, and they were putting out like shows and even real estate and stuff on the show where you can actually click on it. and play it like you can now today. But at the time, this is new tech.
Yeah, 20 years ago.
So I was like, wow, this is pretty interesting. Like information on demand. I'd like to be able to offer that to my agents and my clients. So I came up with the name Remax On Demand, and I developed a whole thing of like online video courses and stuff. Well, not really video, but it was PDFs and some videos and stuff. Resources online for the agents, and they could access it at any time. This is early on. So all of a sudden, somebody from corporate comes down, sits with me. I remember his name. I'm not going to mention it here. Let's just say John. And it was his first name. I just won't mention his last name. So he sits down and he's like, wow, I really want you to tell me. You've recruited so many agents. I really want to hear everything that's going on here. How you developed your concept. And I did. I gave him all the information. Like, I'm sorry, I was really being naive at that point. Thinking
giving them all
that
your cards, essentially.
they were listening to me because they were proud and they wanted, to support me, that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden I get a cease and desist letter from Remax stating that, the Remax on-demand model is to terminate immediately. I have to come up with a different name. And all the Remax on-demand branding needed to dissipate because they were going to launch their own on-demand product. So whether they took that from me or developed it on their own or whatever, at least the name they shut down, and it coincided with weeks before meeting with that person. So right there, I was like, okay, franchises are they're not a friend of the agents. They're just looking to pull out as much money as they can from people. And I can see some of these models that are out there, they have 100, 200 agents, and 80% of them produce nothing, but they still pay fees every month, So, and that's what they're looking for, is that residual income coming from the agents. It's like, that's no way to invest in people. So started around 2000, I want to say 2008, maybe. I had sold the Remaxes, and this concept kind of was rumbling in the back of my head. And in 2011, I was in a cafe, and I was like, man, this industry really needs to evolve. And that's where I wrote down real estate and evolve. And I came up with the name Revolv, which is the amalgamation of those two, real estate and evolution. So,
and that's Revolv without the E at the end, might I add? All right. A lot of people
there's no
put
E.
E's.
I had to make it different. The trial and error, because believe it or not, there's so many names that are taken. But so we came up with that. And the idea was to do exactly what everybody thinks brokers don't do for their agents, So, they didn't never really provide enough leads to make them make money or survive or whatever. Well, we do. Okay. So they don't invest in the agents or support them. Well, we do. They don't charge, they charge tons of fees, right? For everything. We don't charge any fees. So, and we went on and on with this concept. And every time it was, well, that broker competes about, okay, then my next choice is to either, leave the industry, go full time to help the agents and whatnot, or not be able to develop a model that's really focused on agents. That was my decision at the time. So I said, I'm going to go all in. Now, mind you, I made a comfortable living selling real estate. So to make that decision, it was easier. It was impactful. It was a really hard decision to make, but my wife supported it and believed in the idea. And then I started to find some people that were like-minded, like Corey Dasilva,
Shout out Corey behind the camera.
So these people were really passionate about the idea, and it just, over the last few years, started to really take off. And you said my agents love me, and I got to tell you, I love my agents. So it's
we are a very family,
yes.
I would say, and I've worked for companies and I've had my own little businesses, but I don't think I've ever experienced the family atmosphere at a place of work more than this place. Truly, we're Revolv family. We don't read that motto at end of meetings just for nothing, right?
That's true.
Right. We are a family at Revolv, and I gotta give you for that, Dennis. That's hard to do, is to create a family.
Well, I think that's how we're not a recruiting outfit, so we're not out there recruiting every day, and that's our main principle. We don't tell agents to recruit. We don't do any of that stuff, because what they should be doing is focusing on them and their careers, and not out there trying to grow the company for Revolv. My opinion is agents should focus on their clients and sales, and let Revolv invest in them and spend time with them.
I like that. And you said Revolve's for the agents, not
the agents.
Not obviously, it's a different way of looking at real estate in general. But I like how you put it that way. Actually, it makes me even feel more special, Dennis, sitting down and talk with you on this podcast. I'm glad you had time today too. That's I mean, you're always so busy, and
I'm honored that you brought me on.
Well, I mean, this podcast is going to do some pretty big stuff that wouldn't have been possible without Dennis's all-in moment.
I got to tell you, I have a ticker on my thing, and every time I see the new episode, I'm listening to it.
Well, and this one's going to break records, all right? Millions, bajillions of views.
Think it will. You've had some great interviews. I have the Corey Santos, Phil Rebello interviews. Those are great interviews. So they're much better than me. I'm terrible on camera.
No, I'd say you're better than all of them, Dennis, because you're the one that put all this in motion.
I'm the guy behind the curtain, though. You guys are the stars. You know,
it's like who's behind the curtain. It's the Wizard of Oz. Dennis is the Wizard of Oz. Can we put a picture up there with Wizard of Oz with Dennis's face on it?
Oh, great! Not with my face.
But okay, I actually never heard that story before, Dennis. That's quite amazing, actually. That you took the whole concept of real estate brokerage and you flipped the script to change the industry.
You know, we're still developing, we're still innovating, but you know, it's iteration after iteration of who Revolv is. But all we know is, regardless of how much time we put into this, that it's about you guys. You know, so the biggest compliment you guys can give us is to succeed, right? And to be happy at Revolv. I was saying previously, we don't recruit. We look for people who are kind-hearted and collaborative and, you know, just true professionals. And if we see somebody like that, we'll approach them. And that's why everybody's a family in that culture, because we're bringing people in who you can tell they care.
Yeah, they're not there for, put on the suit and just go to work and collect money. I would almost argue and say every agent that works at Revolv and has been here for a while, like, can see it as well. Like, there's more than just business when it comes to Revolv here. I mean, obviously focusing on individual clients and getting more business, but I mean, like, I'd say it again, like, this is a family. This is one of the only places I've ever worked where I felt like I was part of a family. Wow, that's huge.
That's a huge compliment.
And you got to think about that. Really, I mean, these big companies, a guy, hyper-energetic as me could go in front of bigger companies, but they're not going to give me the same things Revolv does. It's not materialistic things for me. I like to feel in a place where I'm wanted, first of all. In this place, you walk in every day, everyone's Joe Still. Hey, Joe. So it's like, but that's also you too, Dennis. So I see a lot of myself in you, and hopefully I can get to Dennis's level one day, huh?
Well, I'm sure you can. We have a model, at least early on, was always the client, never the commission. That extends to the agents. You're not looking at your sales. Only reason we even look at your sales is to make sure that you're hitting the goals you want. Because we know if you put the time and effort in with all the leads and support that we give you, you will flourish. But sometimes it takes the right set of things to happen for you to be able to hit that accelerator and start to crush it in real estate. And, we see some early stoppings here at this table and out there of people who are going to be really amazing in this industry. And people will be well served by choosing somebody who is this caring. So if anybody's working with Joe out there, you picked the right agent.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, I serve my clients as good as I can, and I think I do an amazing job at it. Everyone leaves with a smile at the end of the day, and I guess if that's what you can do, I'd say that's pretty great. And I mean, I came into real estate with a little bit of knowledge, but I've seen other agents come in here be completely green about it. And, you're available. I was talking to Corey Dasilva the other day at 9 o'clock at night. I mean, I could call you, Dennis, at probably 12, maybe 1 in the morning.
Probably, yes.
Yeah, probably.
I'd be awake anyways.
And Dennis will pick up.
Yeah.
So it's good to me that, like, I have access to people who are not only on the same wavelength to me, but they have far more experience than me, and they're willing to give me the time of day because I'm a newer guy and because I'm this. But I see other agents do the same thing and, been on calls late night with you guys. And there's people that call me and text me late at night. So it makes me feel good that some of that energy rubs off on me as well. So it just goes to show you, family at Revolv is more than just family. It is. It's everything that comes with it. All the good.
Well, you might not know this, but you have an impact on Revolv. A lot of people coming through Revolv, the people who care, they leave, a little bit of themselves here. So Revolv is better because Joe Still's in it, because Antara Lead is in it, because Corey Dasilva's in it. It's better. It evolves.
Along with all the other agents
together.
Yeah. Revolve, evolve. It's all the same at the end of the day, right? But I like the concept. It's changing the way the old brokerages used to do it and creating what Denis Dasilva, which I think is the golden goose egg now, right? I mean, if with this company can go in the next 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 years from now, who knows?
Jeez,
Who knows?
Well, I won't be around. That's another generation. That's for you guys.
Another generation, yeah. Well, who knows? 20 years from me, I'll be what, my 40s? So who knows? 20 years. I could see myself here for a while.
That's another thing we do. So it's not just, real estate and whatever. We invest in you guys. So the minute that you guys are ready to expand into something else, maybe ownership or, starting your own franchise, whatever, we make those things available for you. I don't know if you know this, but we offer, if you guys are looking to buy in real estate and flip, we have programs to help you finance and purchase that in-house.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm talking about. It's multifaceted. We're here to help you succeed. And in turn, you guys do that for us.
Yeah.
So.
And I love it. And I can't complain. I really can't. I mean,
this is great. I should come more often.
Yeah, we can. And I mean, you're closing this thing out pretty much. I mean, Dennis, you blew me away with this whole story. I never knew you lived in Portugal. Is that how you know Portuguese, or is completely coincidence?
So my dad was from there, my mom as well, and they just went there on vacation, loved it so much, crazy as it is, and just stayed. So all of a sudden, I'm back in time where there's no TV. The bathroom was literally outside of the house that we stayed in, and it was completely changed. But I got to tell you, it was amazing. Yeah. It was amazing.
Humble beginnings to somewhere where you could be proud of today. That's what I strive. Anything. That's what I'm striving on. 20 years, I hope to be on a bigger level than Dennis. Hopefully, right?
That's what I want for you.
I want to strive for above and beyond.
I'm sure you will.
But I'm closing this thing out. We're all gonna get goody here. Dennis is gonna blush. Yeah, we'll start hugging each other and crying. But Dennis, I'm so happy you came on. Put her there. That was such a great podcast with you. I'm glad you gave us your story. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the viewers, or
no? Just for anybody who's listening to Joe, subscribe to his podcast because it's informative. He has some great guests on, present company excluded. But he also, as a realtor, if you're looking to buy or sell, there's nobody better. So.
Give me a shout, right? Any Portuguese words you want to say to the Portuguese people? Boa tarde? I don't know.
Boa tarde.
Boa tarde, okay. Right? All right, guys. Okay. We'll see you next Wednesday on the Still Talking Podcast.
All right.